Kristen Dunst, and Kristen Stewart. Thank you, everyone. Now we've got a very short Q&A, only 4 questions. I'm going to ask Walter the first question. Walter, you read this book when you were 18 years old, and you were telling me some stories behind screen, how important it was. So maybe you could just set the context in terms of the importance and why you wanted to make this film.
Right, well, I read it when I was entering university in Brazil, in the mid-70s. It was a very specific time in my country. We were under the military regime, and as you can imagine, every kind of freedom that we were pursuing as a generation was denied to us. So you couldn't go from one place to the other because the roads were blocked. You couldn't read specific things or hear music because censorship existed. Censorship in culture, but a political censorship and a censorship of the mind. And what this book embodied for me was the possibility to reinvent a different kind of future where all forms of freedom were possible. And in this sense, it brought a it was very emblematic to my generation in Brazil, although it was not translated into Portuguese until the beginning of the redemocratization of the country in '83. And it was a book that stayed with me for many, many years, to the point that before doing Motorcycle Diaries, I read on the road again before shooting Motorcycle Diaries, because I wanted to be inhabited by, you know, the beauty in which that transition between youth, you know, from youth to adulthood was transcribed by Carolyn. I was also very much in love with the rhythm and the prose, you know, the idea that the typing machine would be an extension of the writer's body, as a jazz instrument would be, you know, the extension of a musician. So
it's an instrument.
Yes. So I was, you know, taken by it because of what it was telling me, but also because how it was written. So the book stayed for many, many years with me. It still is.
Garrett, you did a lot of research for this film. You told me some stories again backstage, just in terms of you traveled with Walter, you went around the country, and you had some phenomenal experiences. So maybe you just talk to the audience a little bit about that. Check.
This film for me has been a wonderful ride, journey, life experience, to say the least. Walter and I first met in 2007 in spring, and right first came to read with him for the, and then it was man, we had such a wonderful benefit for me, for self-fulfillment in terms of being such a fan of Beat Generation, and first and foremost a fan of this man, Neil Cassidy, Minority. We had the blessing of being able to go to John Cassidy's house, who was Neil Cassidy's son. I just sat there and I had a notepad, and I was just asking all the questions I had written down, because I said I'd be free to do this. We'd go over to other wonderful Beat Museum writers, places like Mike McClure. We'd get to meet Neil's kids, and I was able to spend a wonderful day with Carolyn Cassidy in London and sit down and read her writings that I had done. Her sitting there with a closed cigarette and a glass of wine and saying, "No, not that." And it was, for me, the fulfillment of the experience of being around all these people that I admired and felt were so far. It's like you're bowing before a statue of Hercules or something, and I got to be put into this wonderful opportunity. But to get to know this man through stories that have been unpublished, from writings that have been unpublished, which are so rare and rich, I got to find inspired me so much, that inspired so many, between future beat writers, rock stars, people lost and wanted a journey to find themselves, or to find something much greater that can benefit everyone else. And this was a man that, besides having stolen 500 cars before he was 14, besides having read all of Mark Twain in juvenile hall and wanted to go to Columbia and wanted to do what all these guys did, there was something wonderful about it, and the fact that he didn't achieve this, it's great, and while we're all here today, why we're here in front of you, such a wonderful experience, wonderful man, all these guys live such rich, wonderful lives we can all admire, and I've admired, and they gave us so much that has made today and tonight what it is. It's wonderful. I feel so proud to have everyone here. It's beautiful.
Kristen. Kerouac really, it's a male world, isn't it? It's kind of guys on the road. How easy was it for you to penetrate, the two of you, to work yourself as women into this guy's world?
I thought you said Kristen. I was like,
oh, I'm sorry.
We got Kirsten and Kristen here tonight.
I didn't mix you up.
Very confusing. I mean, for me, I feel like I was the one, when I read Carolyn's book, Off the Road, I think, even though I was attracted to this lifestyle, I think at the end of the day, she really wanted to have a family. She gave up a lot for this man, but she was so enamored by him that, love takes you to places sometimes you wish you didn't go or take yourself. So she was very, enveloped in this man's life, even though, she got the short end of the stick in a way, but had the life that she wanted at the time. So she found her great love, but it didn't really work out the way I think she probably wanted it to in the end.
Kristen, this is a brave role. It's a pretty risky role for you to take on. Is it hard?
No. It was difficult for other reasons, I guess. I think it's funny that the first thing that actors always say when they have taken their clothes off, or she thinks that people would be a little taken aback by it. It's like, oh, I feel so safe. I promise. It was like I was someone else. I wasn't someone else at all. It was like a huge, truly like such a departure for me. It was just so very much rooted in someone that I got to know. One of my biggest questions when I first did this movie was how do you have the capacity to handle what she handled and still have a life that affects so many people and not have it go out inside? And bottomless pit, that's the answer. She's like, there's just nothing, she would have been really special now. I know that, it's taken a long time to tell this story, and she was ahead of her time and everything. It's just that even now, she would have been a really incredible person. I think that the acceptance that she had for, I don't want to say humanity, we're all the same, whatever. It's just she really just loved so openly, and that's hard, and it's hard to take. It really, even because we were privy to so much information that no one ever would be allowed to be. I knew that she was okay, and it was easier for me to play that part, knowing that, it was like she's more than okay, maintained a relationship with him till the end of his life, and it was so important to her forever. It was not something she ever sold, not something she ever capitalized on. It was always just her life and her first love. And I every single time I questioned myself, every single time there was ever a moment where you'd be nervous or something, or think maybe you won't do this justice. Not only did I just have to look here, or to Sam, or to him mostly, you look up, because she was so fucking there for me.
We've got time for 2 questions from you guys. Right here. Let me just...
Okay, first of all, I want to say, Kristen, I'm a huge fan and I love you very much. Second of all, since the film's called On the Road, and if you were to go on the road tomorrow to any location whatsoever, let's say you've been there, let's say you really want to go there, where would you go and why?
I really love being behind the wheel. It's, you don't need to, I don't know where I would wind up. That's like, I don't know, dude. Yeah, exactly. So in the spirit of On the Road, I gotta tell you, I just didn't know where I was going. seriously. I don't know, start in LA and wind up in New York. That seems like kind of makes sense, right? I haven't done that yet. I took one road trip before I did this. I went to Ohio. I didn't make it all the way. Didn't have time, as it turned out.
One more question. Over here.
It's more of a comment. I just want to say congratulations. It was a wonderful film, and you all gave us a spectacular performance across the board. So congratulations. It was an excellent.
So it's a general congratulations. Before we end?
Oh, I was just going to jump on the question that was asked to Kristen for two reasons. First, Ferlinghetti, who was the publisher of so many works of this generation, once told me, there's no more a way. We lost the sense of a way. We know every part of the world, and I think that yes, he's right to say that, but I wonder if there are not places that are still left to explore. And sometimes it's not in the geography, it's within ourselves. And I was remembering the story of John Borman, who went to Brazil to film the Amazon forest, and he went to the Amazon to try to find the locations for that. And he talked to the shaman of a tribe. And he said, I'm interested in filming here. And then the shaman asked, what do you do? And he said, well, I travel, with my camera, and I register places of the world, and basically I go to and I show worlds that are never seen before. And the shaman says, oh, I do that in my tent every single day. And so sometimes it is possible to find those worlds within ourselves, and it's something that this film also, the Holy Road, every kind of road, and this is something that this film has taught me.
That's a nice way of ending the discussion. Thank you, Walter.